Hello everyone, welcome back for some more Fate Hollow Ataraxia. We are still doing events. There's a new one here at the bridge. We can check this one out. It's like we're in like the third part. We're at legit 88.8%, which when I saw that I was like, that's pretty good. So let's see what's going on at the big bridge here. Humming to myself, I make my way towards the park. It was weird because normally he doesn't have sound when he speaks to himself. I was very confused. My early afternoon patrol failed to turn up anything, but I can't say I'm dissatisfied with that. With weather as good as this, I can't help but be in a pleasant mood. It's such a nice day that people are lounging about instead of hurrying to wherever they're going. This ataraxic environment could be considered a little slice of happiness, however cheaply bought. Hey, just because the pie is cheap doesn't mean the pie is not delicious. A day like this is best spent in leisure, basking one's good fortune in the company of strangers. Yeah, in the embrace of such a gentle afternoon, nothing can disturb me, not even if a duo like these two should come along, for example. God save me if these two show up, though. Hang on. What was that just now? As I tremble at the sight of my terribly accurate amateur prophecy, I feel something coil around my leg. I fervently cross myself, pleading for salvation from imminent reality. In an instant, Amyashira was reeled in like a common fish, while the general public goes about its own business. So, okay, I thought you said you don't leave the church, but alright, I guess that's not right. I'm unceremoniously dragged across tiled ground, not tilled. That wouldn't make sense, it's tiled. As the catch, my body, rolls to a stop, the red cloth disappears without a trace. Evidence destroyed. And the prime suspect saunters up, as if everything were perfectly normal. Yet, why do I feel like the huntress is about to skin her prey? Ironically, Caren is my background on my computer right now, which I can see because I don't play this in full screen. I mean, is it? I was just out for a walk. You normally don't go out here. It's more of a coincidence for you. I brush the dust off my body as I stand up. Of course I'd give her my meanest evil eye, or I do give her my meanest evil eye. My glare does its best to convey, what the hell was that? You better have a damn good reason for doing that or else you're in for a beatdown. These fists are unisex. Not really. He wouldn't punch a woman. Oh my god. Oh my god, look at that hat. At that exact angle, that looks like a very shitty drawn Tanner hat. That's all I see. Oh, I hate it, kind of. Okay. Her composure is ironclad. My glare is too low to even deal a single hit point of damage. That is, there's no problem since she got exactly what she wanted. She could only ever admit to a personal failure, meaning that she probably sees nothing wrong with premeditated assault and kidnapping. I don't think it was. Did we? Huh? At that, I tilt my head in confusion. Oh, no, we totally did say that. I don't remember saying that, but the way she puts it makes it sound like I'm just reaping what I sow. That's a shame. She has the right of things for once. She has the right of thing. That's a strange sentence, dude. But I wish she would take a lesson from this moment and apply that common sense to her future decisions.
とにかく、こんにちは、カレン。こんなところで会うなんて珍しいな。
Yeah, you literally told us you normally don't leave the house, so this is quite strange.
はい。私もこの時間帯にあなたと話せるとは思いませんでした。
ああ、そういえばそんなこと言ってたっけ。確か日中は教会にしかいられないとか。
I mean, except right now.
今は大丈夫なのか？
何事も例外はありますから、無理をすれば少しだけ街に出ることができます。
そっか。じゃあ頑張ればうちに遊びに来ることもできる？
I don't know about that. I feel like that would cause many more problems.
それはやはり厳しいようです。それに彼女たちの誰とも私は相性が悪いですから。
So you literally know all about my house situation, alright?
そうなのか？そうは見えないけどな。
I mean, we literally have a demon at our house. Am I talking about Medusa? Am I talking about Rin? Or am I talking about Taiga? I'll leave that up to you. Honestly, I think she's kind of like Tosaka. Though I don't have a real explanation for that opinion.
まあ、気が向いたら顔を出してくれ。お茶でよければ歓迎するから。で、手段はとんでもなかったけど、呼び止めたってことは話があるんだよな。一体何の話なんだ、カレン。
Did that part surprise her?
どうした？やっぱり教会の外だと具合が悪くなるのか？
いえ、そういうわけではないのですが、あなたがいつもより紳士的なので勝手が違うだけです。
You really underestimate how much I hate that church, the building itself. I mean, being out here is fine, but don't put me in that church. I'm pretty sure we haven't spoken enough for her to say that. Ah, well, maybe I've already heard her performance many times.
悪い。こうして話すのって初めてだったっけ？
ええ、この場所でこうして話すのは初めてです。お互い名前を知っているのですから、何度かお会いしているのでしょう。
See, the confusing thing is I don't know the order that you, like, have to do these events in. I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but at the same time, it's like, what if I haven't met her a bunch of times? Like, could I even get this event? I don't know.
どうぞ、私の体のことは気になさらず結構です。
そっか。体は何ともないのか。それじゃあ、俺を呼び止めた要件だけど。
要件というほどのことではありません。話すべきこともありませんから、見かけても通り過ぎるべきだったのですが。
Came to ruin it, right?
あ
Gotcha.
なたが幸福そうだったので。
あ？
What was that? I just felt a seriously cold chill run down my spine.
幸福そうだったから、つい。
How did that make her feel?
つい刺激心が刺激されてしまいました。
Wait, hold up, what?
さしたる理由もなく、目に見えて幸福そうでしたので、人生とは楽なものではなく、常に苦しみ、もだえ、自虐に押しつぶされるもの。その見せかけの幸福は、私の一息でたやすく消し去ってしまうものだ。と。
Well, we're not inviting her to our next party, jeez.
それは、俺が気に食わないってことだろうか。
いいえ、あなたが憎いわけではありません。私はただ、幸福そうな人を見ると、皮を剥がしてみたくなるのです。
Wow. You're kinda terrible.
そうですね。以前から兆候はあったのですが、この町に来てから本格化したような。もしかすると、これは私の趣味なのでしょうか。
My opinion of you has greatly changed. Even listening to this is disturbing. It's confusing to hear, but her intentions seem perfectly clear to me.
なるほど。最悪だな。
同感です。まったく、誰に似たのだか。
We nod in unison. It's kind of sympathy, as if we've just discovered we have a common enemy.
なのだが、できれば俺のささやかな幸せは見逃してほしい。せめて短い余暇の間ぐらい、このまま心穏やかに過ごさせてくれないだろうか。
Look, Emyashiro just wants a happy life. where he can cook food and simp multiple females at once.
そう言われては無理強いはできません。
God, that'd be the life. God, I'd kill for that.
見たところすぐに冷めてしまいそうなものですし、
Oh,
私が水をかけるまでもないでしょう。
well, dang. Karen abruptly turns away with displeasure. How should I put it? She looks like she looks like a child that's had her favorite toy taken away.
と、一つ聞き忘れていました。
What's up?
この辺りで怪しい二人組を見かけませんでしたか？大きいのと小さいの。目につく風貌なので、詳しい特徴は言うまでもないのですが。
I mean, that sounds like Ilya and Berserker.
怪しい二人組？いや、見かけてないけど。
そうですか。この辺りだと感じたのですが、移動したのかもしれません
I
ね。
mean, I saw in the opening that I had to get cut out because, of course, copyright. Whoopsie doopsie. I saw there that there totally was Berserker in this story, it seems.
私の
So,
目から逃れようなんて、
wait,
浅ま
what?
しい使い魔たち。
Alright, this is interesting. Foo-foo, the nun lets out an oddly warm chuckle. Sister, if there's anyone suspicious, it's you.
さようなら、エミヤシロ。まだ縁があるのなら、教会で会いましょう。
I watch her leave, her footsteps fading into the distance. The girl, robed in her religious habit, left the park behind, not as a phantom, but as a real human being. Boy, you are an interesting character. Call it a day. Big nappy boys. Nothing here. Afternoon. And next day. And the afternoon. Hey, we can go at the big bridge with the Lancer. This is new. It's unusual for the riverside to show no signs of life. The townspeople's favorite place to relax is only 2 people. And it's one ridiculously conspicuous and unusual pair to boot. Oh boy.
レアだ。
No, it's not the combination itself that's rare. By all rights, they should be at each other's throats. Heck, if it wasn't for the fact that they have one master. Wait, what? Have we learned that? If it wasn't for the fact that they have one have we learned that this is the fact? That they are a They'd be killing each other outright, but no, they're just chatting and eating ice cream.
彼のは僕のおごりです。
Well, yeah, you're rich. You better be. Another shocking fact is revealed.
やはりアイスはベリーベリーストロングが一番だね。
Together with completely pointless commentary. Incidentally, Lancer's eating strawberry flavored gelato.
あ、お兄さん呆れてる。おかしいですか？僕と彼が一緒にいるのって。
いや、真面目な話おかしいだろ。坊主が固まるのも当然だ。そもそもな、てめえに可愛げがある時点でおかしい。別人じゃねえのか、ほんと。成長過程に謎がありすぎんだよ。猿から人以上の空白だね。
あ、いやいや、嫌われてるな。同じマスターを持つ仲間同士、仲良くやっていきたいんだけどな。まあ、振り返ってみると誤解を招くことばっかりしてるから仕方ないんですけどね。
She got denied, he said it.
誤解なんか招いてないだろう。ありゃ間違いようのねえ暴君ぶりじゃねえか。どっからどう見てもいいとこなんざねえ。一度ぶっ壊して根本から直さねえと改心しねえよ。
そうなんですよね。なんであんな大人になっちゃったんでしょうね。でも将来は変えられないんですよね。はあ、未来が分かってるのってこんなに鬱なんですね。
Yeah, because Gilgamesh straight up has future sight. He's a prophet. The blonde boy droops his shoulders dejectedly.
わかる。その気持ち少しわかる。
本当ですか？よかった。ならお兄さんとは仲良しになれますね。嬉しいな。ようやく大人になっても友達になってくれそうな人に会えました。
Don't know about that part.
それは無理。育ちきったお前とは付き合えない。根本から思考が合わないというか。
そうですか。ショックです。まともそうな顔してお兄さんも子供の方がいいって言うんですね。育ちきったら趣味じゃないなんて、なんて偏った人なんだろう。
Alright, so I'm gonna let you know. I read biased as based and was about to scream.
小僧、そっちの人間だったのか。なるほど、それでか。いや、カズイル剣の英霊の中からあそこまでちびっこの英霊を召喚するなんておかしいと。
Wait, what? Oh, he's talking about Saber.
わけあるか。俺の趣味はずっともっとまっとうだ。恋愛趣味が過ぎる金ピカと一緒にすんな。
失礼ですね。お兄さんにだけは言われたくありません。イリアさんの水着姿に赤面した時点で重罪です。
Okay, that was a problem, yes, but it was because I was happy that she was there as my little sister.
なぜそれを知っている。英雄をかっこしょう。あ、いや、しかしですね、この件に関してはそういうのとは別件かと。そもそもセイバーはちびっこではありません。
I agree. Anyone who's like, Saber looks like a child is like, what are you talking about? That's absolutely not the case. Unfortunately.
あ
Sorry,
あ
what?
りゃ十分子供だろう。ライダーあたりと比べたら女っていうより幼女扱
Sorry,
いだと思
wait,
うがね。
what? Shiro, that's bad. Don't be like that.
ダメですよランサーさん。その暴論だとライダーさんも敵に回します。
同感。お願いだからあんまり怖いこと言わないでくれランサー。下手なこと言うとあっちの方からロケットが飛んでくるぞ。
Like how it's just three dudes talking about the chicks. It's kind of fun. Bro time.
あっちってどっちよ。
だからあっち。0時で呼んでもいいけど。
呼ぶな。そりゃロケットじゃなくてミサイルだ。
しかも核がつく方ですね。
だよな。ありゃなんとかに刃物だぜ。敵には容赦ねえからな、あのお嬢ちゃんは。
The blonde boy laughs merrily, and the guy in the aloha shirt just shrugs his shoulders. I know we're in a park on a weekend and all that, but this pair might make a pretty funny combination.
で、こんなところで何してんだよ、二人とも。
The aloha shirt guy doesn't even try to hide his displeasure. The blonde boy casts his eyes down sadly.
らしくないな。あんたたちが嫌がることなんてめったにないのに。あ、もしかして聖杯戦争が関係してるのか？
バカ言っちゃいけねえ。こと戦いで俺が悩むかよ。頭痛の種は別にある。この悩みに比べたら聖杯戦争なんざ楽しい部類に入るぜ。
僕は逆ですね。聖杯戦争に参加するのに比べたらまあ十分我慢できるんですけど。
そうか？あの陰湿さに比べたら真っ向勝負のがマシじゃねえか。てめえも力勝負のが好きだろ？俺以上に勝ち負けをはっきりさせたがるたちなんだからよ。
力勝負はスマートじゃありません。できれば勝負しないで勝ちたいものですが、まあ戦略と戦術の違いは置いておいて、はっきりさせたいって言うならあの人ははっきりしてますよランサーさん。方針に迷いがありませんからね。
そりゃ方針次第だ。人をこき使うのに迷いがないなんざ人間としてどうかって話だろ。
Are you two talking about who I think you are? Because I don't think we've actually been told who your master is.
人としてどうかと思いますが、上に立つ者としてはいいんじゃないですか。
I mean, if you think about it, these two were under the priest last time, so...
まあ僕はそういうの性に合わないんですけどね。
We'll see.
王様っていうのは自分だけの視野の他にちゃんとみんなと同じ視野を持ってなくちゃいけません。
はあ、そりゃご立派なことで。よ坊主、話は変わるが、俺の知り合いにとんでもねえわがままな王がいてな。自分以外の人間を雑種呼ばわりして見下すわ。
Wonder where we've heard that
全ては
before.
自分に奉仕するのが当然と思い上がっているわ。そのくせその通りになる人間ってのをたまらなく嫌ってるやつなんだが、知ってるか？
That sounds a bit familiar.
知ってるよ。人の話は全く聞かないわ。金さえ出せば何でも手に入ると思ってるわ。一日前の悪事をきれいさっぱり忘れてるわ。女癖も悪くて 毎日のように振られているのに懲りずに粉かけに来るんだ。お前が俺を好きなのかではない。俺がお前を好んでいるか、それが全てなのだ。とかなんとか。
Wonder who we're talking about.
そうそう。加えて受けた恩も覚えちゃいねえ。借金を踏み倒すんじゃなくてよ、借金を当然の貢ぎ物だと思い込んでやがる。で、おまけに
何一つ他人のために働かないんだよな。無職だよ、無職。毎日遊んでるくせに真面目に働いている人たちから財産を没収してふんぞり返ってるんだ。
I don't know if I would use neat to describe him. I don't think that's a proper term. Because never employed, educated, or trained, not in training. I think he's trained for his stuff because he fights, you know? I don't know if I would call him a neat. There's many other words, but I wouldn't call him that.
その通り。ほんと困ったもんだった。でよ、話は変わるが、てめえはそういうのをどう思う？
Doesn't really matter. And then the blonde boy says from the bottom of his heart,
うわ、ひどい人ですね。そんな人本当にいるんですか？
Yep, and it's you.
今心が通じ合ったな、小僧。
ああ、この場に他の連中がいたらみんな通じ合えたと思う。
We both nod. The Child King stares at us in wonder.
結局のところ本当に何してんだよ。主語抜いてばっかりで話がわかんないぞ。
ん？だからよ、アジトに戻りたくねえって話。
That's fair.
そうなんです。マスターがね、横暴なんですよ。
マスター？
Their master. Kotomine? No, it can't be. Okay, good. I'm glad we're addressing this. He's been dead since half a year ago. There must be someone else who formed a contract and keeps these two in this world. What kind of person? I have a feeling I sort of know, but maybe not yet.
へえ。どんなやつなんだよ、一体。
そんなのこっちが知りてえぜ。わかるのは前と同じぐらいサーバント使いが荒いってことだけよ。そっちはどうだ？俺より重宝されてるんだろ？
詳しいことは僕も知りません。何でも教会から修道院にたらい回しにされ、
Yep.
そこで天職を得たのです。
Yep, that's her.
だとか、そんな微妙な経歴自慢げに語られても困るんですけどね。
Well then, I couldn't entirely understand their story, but one thing is clear. These two share a natural enemy, and it brought out a sense of camaraderie never seen before.
つまり二人してマスターから逃げてると。
逃げてるわけじゃねえ。また無理な注文をされないよう行方をくらましているだけだ。
ランサーさんはいいですよ。レイジの縛りが薄いんですから。僕なんてがっちりですからね。ちょっとお兄さんに肩入れすると後で大目玉です。
Interesting.
マジかよ。ありゃ辛いよな。近くに控えさせておいて一日中無言だもんな。ライダーあたりには気が合いそうだけどよ、俺たちには針のむしろだよな。
The two of them are looking quite depressed, so it's not that they fear her prowess as a magus, it's that they dislike her as a person.
ああ、思い出したんだけど、前にさ、ここ歩いてたら赤い布にとっ捕まったことがある。
Oh,
怪しい二人組を見なかったかって聞いてきた
that
んだ。
makes sense now.
じゃあな小僧、休養を思い出した。もし同じ目にあったら青い方は知らないが金色の方はよくここの公園で遊んでいると伝えてくれ。
僕もいても立ってもいられなくなりました。もし同じような目にあったら、金色の方は知らないけど青い方は港にいると教えてあげてください。
The two of them exchange equally nihilistic looks, as expected of war-hardened veterans that survived many a battle. No matter how friendly they may look, they're always ready to kick each other below the belt.
あばよ、お前も本気で気をつけろよ小僧。
I like how it's just like super canon that Lancer is not afraid to throw hands with a child. Lancer's running away at full speed in the direction of the harbor.
それじゃあまた気が向いたらでいいですから、あの人にはお兄さんの方から構ってあげてくださいね。
Not to be outdone by Lancer, the blonde kid is rapidly escaping towards the Miyama streets. Alright then. The carefree servants that play around and their master who forces manual labor on them. I do wonder which side is the worst luck. As an unrelated outsider, I still can't decide.
面白そうかな。あれはあれで。
This new kind of love triangle, not the least among them. Which it's more of a hate triangle. A large fan of the hate triangle. Alright, call it a day. Big nap, boys. Go to bed. Start a circle. Oh. Hunger mine, huh? Interesting. Time for serious plot. The first year was spent deciding who to hate. We're at the village. For a long time, he had been living in happiness. He was born in a plain, not-so-wealthy family. He had parents that were normal and a sister much younger than him. He woke up early in the morning, helping his father in the forest, carrying back the yield of the day to the village. The world of his was simple. His everyday life didn't change. That work had gone on for decades. His father and his father's father probably entered the forest and lived under the grace of the mountain in the same way. Just like his father and grandfather, he was also going to live a dull and boring life. There was the restlessness of youth, but he knew that would leave him as the years passed. A roof to sleep under, enough food not to starve, and the warmth of his neighbors. That was all he could ever ask for. But why? Why did it have to turn out like that? Villagers were at least entitled to this dull life. It hadn't been a rich village, but it brimmed with the rightness of being able to live normally and die quietly. The other villagers weren't any different from him. The other villagers thought of him as one of them. This vexes him even now. Nothing had suddenly gone wrong. There was no mistake anywhere. The choice that was made had been made undeniably by the will of humanity, including himself. That's why it still vexes him, even now. Had it at least been the will of heaven, he could have cursed God's cruelty and been done with that. Filthy demon. Woo, that's some jiggly text. It came without any warning. As naturally as saying good morning to another. First the eyes. Leaving the house, he went towards the woods like always. He said hello to a passing neighbor, but was ignored. The disaster took place in the middle of the village. Villagers he had never met surrounded him, and he would never return there again. Hey, leave the left eye. The ceremony was performed calmly. Apparently he had been the devil himself. The fact, even unknown to him until now, left the people in grief and disgust. Finally their anger rose up, and his fate was decided. Damn noisy he is, we should take care of the throat. There's more doubt than fear in him. Why? Why do this? Why did this happen? Why did it have to be him of all people? After all, no matter how hard he thought about it, there wasn't a trace of pretext to be found. And on top of that, how? Yeah, as long as he can breathe, I guess. How could they do such a thing? Cut the tendons in his arms and legs. Only the tendons, mind you. His body belongs to everyone in this village. You must leave enough for everyone. Several men took care of the ceremony. Cursed by almost everyone he knew, his arms and legs lost their function while retaining their shape. This is your punishment for not endowing our lives with abundance, they said, as they meted out appropriate punishment to every part of his body. Cut his tongue off too, as if we give him the satisfaction of letting him die. Insulted by many of those he knew, he was covered in filth. It's what you get for threatening our lives, they said, and every part of his body rewarded their discontent. Serves you right, you damn demon. That was the end of him as an individual human. His emotions were destroyed by the pain of losing his body. His rational mind was destroyed from the sorrow of losing his dignity. I'll slaughter you. And so, he had been kneeling for who knows how long. Not a single moan escaped him. The branch piercing through his throat had started to rot. His tongue had been ripped out long ago. His vocal organs had become inflamed after a night of screaming. Why? People that knew him, people that didn't know him, he was abused by everyone alike. The administering of justice needs no reason. They, with their righteous anger and morals, hated the demon, confined atop the mountain without an ounce of shame. The likes of you should not live, they laughed. Yet, they were not even do him the kindness of killing him. Hatred begets more hatred. Going beyond terror and confusion, a hatred was eventually born within him. But who might this hatred be directed at? Why? 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 He thought, and spoke this question too many times to count. Even as one of his eyes was crushed and his fingers were cut off by some scissor-like tool, the words he managed to squeeze out of his throat were, "Why me?" None of the villagers would tell him. Please stop. Please send me back. Please save me. He did not put voice to those wishes he had already given up hope on. He had accepted it when the last of his fingers and toes, the big toe on his left foot, was cut off by a person who had once been his father. He had only a single wish left. Why me? That question alone was his final request, but nobody would tell him. The moment he realized the answer, he became a real demon. There was no reason as to why he was a demon. There was no reason for him to be chosen as the sacrifice. To begin with, the village elders, the people in power, never even knew him. Anyone would have been fine. It was not that he was hated because of his sins. Neither was he isolated because of his good deeds. As a completely dull, ordinary person, he was chosen completely by chance. Just for the sake of a one-day luxury, people he never met ended the life of a human they never knew. That's all there is to it. Merely to fulfill the desires of a single night, his life, fostered well for decades, was trampled upon and crushed. This world is governed by things that are not people. The moment he realized that, he decided upon the target of his hatred. All of the evil in the world, or anger, mind you. The revered effigy thus became a genuine demon. An egg that will never hatch. An anti-hero of this small world that would rid it of all sins. He had no limbs to struggle in pain. His limbs were completely severed. Only his heart was still alive. No arms, no legs, no dignity left. He had no functions as a human, but his sense of pain alone had yet to fail him. He took on countless amount of hatred, while bringing forth hatred just as infinite. His collapsed personality gained order in its own broken way. He was stone, never going outside the stone prison. His body wasn't allowed to move at all. The eyelid of his remaining left eye was fixed, not allowing it to close. His dry, cracked eyeball continued to stare at the outside world. It was just like a stone statue. A stone statue that was conscious. Yo, Angelo. Without taking a single step, he watched the unchanging scenery for a month, a year, decades. He could neither avert nor close his eye. The treatment that would make him forget the fact that he was still alive before the tedium sickened his mind would, in fact, continue until his death. What frightened him, however, was the fact that this torture, difficult to bear for even a single day, would last his entire lifetime. A healthy person's sanity would surely fall apart in no more than 7 days. What allowed him to endure it, what persevered his soul, was the fact that his sanity had already been broken. Unchanging scenery wouldn't break him. That which spread beneath his eye was his hometown. The people that called him a demon as they turned him into a real one. The village that the hatred came from. He had an unbroken view of it all. A repulsive mass of goodwill, prospering by sacrificing the weak. He will continue to hate as long as he lives. This absurdity, the hidden repulsiveness of mankind, the overtly tolerant world that approved of it. All that's left in this stone prison is the hatred that has been scorched in. Neither the personality nor the body that once belonged to him are in there. The soul in his physical body was annihilated long ago. It has already become something else. Only the hatred born from within him continues to smolder within his body, even to this day. Yeah, this makes JoJo Part 4 seem terrifying now. I don't know. I feel bad for Angelo though, man. If you don't know what that is, please just watch the first 2 episodes of JoJo Part 4 and you'll be like, oh god. Who knows how many years passed like that? To him, having lost his sense of time, the world continued its dizzying transformation even as it stagnated. The ties he had back from when he was a human were no exception. The people that chose him, the people that took away his legs and arms, the people that were his blood relatives, the people that hated him, the people that he loved. Their hatred did not last as long by the human. Their hatred did not last as long as that held by the human they sacrificed. Those who stole everything from him disappeared from this world before he did. Like shooting stars, the strong, merciless flicker of the ever-coming days burned into his eyeball. For a long time, he was left in that sunny spot. He saw so many lives, the result of too many meaningless lives, consuming time and space, burning up their own lives recklessly, bearing children, amassing riches, yet ending without a trace. Hollow as they may have been, they were not void. Although they ended, it wasn't as though they did not continue. The wheel of time keeps turning. Lives wither, then bloom again. The cycle of prosperity and decay. The scenery before him kept spinning. There were times of destruction overrun by believers of a different faith. Yep, Paul, speaking hard. Believers of a different faith. There were times of expansion taking in fresh blood. Throughout it all, he continued to stare with hatred. Hatred was the only means by which he could connect to it. There is evil atop this mountain, breathing malice into all of us. That became a teaching passed down in the village since old times. As long as there was hatred, as long as he was hated, he would not die. The new villagers hated, worshipped, and thanked him as their everyday enemy. The young man who had become the demon didn't even exist there anymore. Hatred that gave birth to nothing, a blank space that existed to help life advance smoothly day after day. An open hole in their everyday life, a dumping ground that received all their overflowing emotions. What a convenient, false void that could never become anything, like the remaining hole on a slide puzzle. It can never become anything. It will always be blank. That village too disappeared in a flash. Neither the decaying nor prospering. Times changed, people changed, and the mountain village, having fulfilled its role, went back to being an open field. Everything he hated disappeared without a trace. His name and body had been lost, and even had lost sight of his soul. And in the end, even hatred left him behind. And yet, he's still connected to this place. Many years passed. People perished, the village perished, and even after his own body died, he cannot move from here. The hatred burned into this place is unchanging and undying. As long as the world of humans continues on, it will exist forever. In this empty wasteland, forever gazing at the end of the world. Yeah, that's a horrible existence. Oh-ho, hi. And like that, I finally opened my eyes. Why was Tosaka there? You saw that, right? Why was Tosaka there? I jumped to my feet off the couch. Or no, this is her. My head throbs painfully. The chaos doesn't stop, and the room that I should already be used to appears as though a minefield in the middle, or battlefield in the middle of a bombing. Standing up, I run while swinging my right arm. I move my arm recklessly as a person on fire, and head to the corner of the room while shaking off my delusions. In the corner, there's my servant sitting down like always. I have neither the composure nor affection to answer him. I push him aside, having no clue what I'm trying to do myself, and stand in front of the mirror. To be fair, if I had a dream where I was turned to stone and had to watch as the world endlessly crumble and rebuilt in front of my eyes for thousands of years, I would probably wake up like this too. The figure looking back at me is exactly the same as it was when I stood here for the first time. There were no irregularities. There's nothing wrong with me whatsoever. If I remember correctly, when I first saw this mirror, I felt uneasy. What happened to that arm of yours? Rin asked. So Rin did ask that at the end. I feel dizzy. Something that was locked away comes pouring out. That's right, I noticed it at that time. There's something extra on me reflected in the mirror. And something that should be there is missing. What made that uneasiness so vague? Was it not the servant that's now laughing behind me? I keep staring at the reflection in the mirror. My disordered mind, unable to bear the concentration, sends me into another bout of vertigo. And there within my vision, flashing on and off, I see a terrible image. I'm sorry, is her arm gone now? Whoa! Whoa! Why? What? My ragged breathing starts to calm down. I touched my left arm with my right hand. It's only an illusion. The left arm is certainly there. This is But so is a lingering feeling of discomfort that I can't seem to erase. Something phantom pain reference.
何？腕、どうかしたのか？
A voice from behind me. My mind, having just settled down, picks up speed once again.
別に何も。そんなことより、あなた。
I turn around. Opening my eyes, I look firmly at him. Ooh, there's our first good look at his design, huh? Yeah. Now, I'm gonna say something. Something that's been on my mind for a little bit. But I don't want you to say anything. He does have rather Shiro-like hair and facial structure and even skin tone if you compare it to, like, Archer. But, at the same time, I've seen how Nasu draws boys, especially, like, with the Tsukihime remake, and how there's characters that just look like, you know, Shiro. So I don't know if that means anything, or if this is just how he looks, you know? The boy laughs like a clown. That face. Perhaps it might be familiar to someone other than me. Okay, that sounds important.
そうか。昼間のうちに他のマスターに会ったんだな。
He knows. The servant knew everything from the beginning. I realized that long ago, yet I still...
だから昼間は出歩くなって忠告したのに。まあしょうがねえか。あのお嬢さんの話は本当だぜ。あんたが派遣された聖杯戦争はもう半年も前に終わっている。
I still wanted to trust the servant.
でよ、この聖杯戦争を起こしているのは
俺たち以外に誰がいる？いや、大体聡明なあんたのことだ。そんなのはすぐに気づいたはずだ。なのに自分をごまかして記憶さえ閉じ込めて一生懸命おままごとを続けやがった。しかしまあそれもこれですっきりだ。もういいだろうマスター。この茶番はさ、聖杯戦争を続けたいあんたが引退した連中を引き戻して遊んでいるだけってわけだ。
Wicked laughter. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting on my nerves. He's getting on my nerves.
私を騙していたのか、アベンジャー。
人聞きの悪い。単にあんたが聞かなかっただけだろう。5回目の聖杯戦争がどうなったのかを聞いてくれれば、あんたがどうやって殺されたか教えてやったのに。
What's that blank? It hurts. My chaos-filled head hurts. My eyeballs that glare at him hurt. My disordered breathing hurts. And above all, a throbbing pain in my left arm, as if it's just been amputated.
苦しいか？だが大丈夫。あんたならすぐに落ち着くさ。きっかけはあっけなかったが、気づいたのならこれで。
So, as far as I was aware, he was speaking in full sentences in Japanese, but maybe I don't know. The shadow holds his hand out. The feeling of my left arm shoots through my brain.
僕も今まで
I trusted him. I thought of him as a
お
comrade.
前も私を裏切ったんだ。
Oh, it's real foggy. The moment I let loose those words, I lose all rational thought. Just being there, unable to bear even my own existence, I ran out, my feet taking me somewhere on their own. As if just running away. My torn memories, the left arm spilling invisible blood, they have all taken rational thought away from me. I can't remember. I certainly heard it, yet I can't recall the conversation I had with that girl. Dead, she said. Someone had died, and the Fifth Holy Grail War was over. Died? Who? Well, there's a lot, actually, but I fled back then, too. Not even hearing the Holy Grail War ended was enough to disturb me. So how did such a trifle end up destroying me so thoroughly? I run. I have nowhere to go, yet I'm running towards one very certain place. My left arm feels like it's being torn off. A sense of pain invades my mind, causing endless chaos and confusion. I, who left my hometown, an antique that had no place in the association, I was driven further and further into a corner as I tried to find my worth and could not. After leaving my hometown far behind, I realized just how much I loved it, yet I could not go back. I had nothing definite. My own self was still vague. I built up an imposing exterior and nothing more, and on that day for the first time I saw a strength I could rely on. Not needing anyone. I selfishly admired that, thinking how much easier my life would be if I could be the same. I cringe in pain. I have morphine in my bag. This would be the first time I've ever wanted a painkiller. But I can't inject it into my left arm, so I'd rather have it in my spine. That way it would hit my brain right away and I can forget everything. Jeez, I don't know about that. Forget all about it. I don't want to hear about who died. I came to this town as a master. I couldn't care less about that man. But why was I the one chosen? Acid Fregomic Remitz is a sealing designation enforcer. Any way you slice it, a Holy Grail war in a faraway eastern land is definitely out of her jurisdiction. There has to be a reason. There has to be another reason I'm here. That reason made me so happy. I was so happy to be able to meet him again after all these years. I'm a mess. Who died? I'm a mess. Who died? I'm a mess. Who died? How wonderful. I can hear a silver-colored song. I'm finally here. The place that I never entered up until now. The place I wanted to visit for a long, long time. From what I've heard, it's a small yet elegant chapel. He abstained from luxury and lived a life of self-imposed stringency. I'm sure the building will be very much like him. Gloomy decorations, attention in the air, these were all aspects of him. The vestiges of the man I trusted, making me nostalgic just by thinking about it. Why didn't I come sooner? This is where I'll find him. In the Fifth Holy Grail War, the priest will always welcome those who visit the church and... Oh, it's destroyed. What? What the heck? This isn't what I heard. Nothing but ruins and an unfamiliar girl waiting for me in this place. That's confusing. Why is it in ruins? The pain is at its climax. It's as if my left arm is falling off.
神父の代役です。琴峰綺麗はここにはいない。もうこの世のどこにも存在しない。目を覚ましなさい、バゼット。あなたが望むものは初めからなかった。琴峰綺麗がただの一度もあなたを愛したことがなかったように。
Oh yeah, no, Kira couldn't even love his wife. There's no way he'd love you. I was chosen because of the recommendation he gave me. Who is this? A mage from the association. I was very confused for a sec. I'm like, whose voice is this? Not even the vulgar sarcasm of the association fazed me. I was happy to be chosen by the man that never chose anyone. But we never continued from where we left off last time. Mixing business and personal affairs would only disappoint him. Having recognized my abilities, he's recommended me as a master. Therefore, when I met him, it would be as the victor. I intended to see him only after winning the Holy Grail War. Everything was going smoothly. I made a contract with the ideal servant and set my base in a Western-style mansion which had been used by a magus before. Soon all 7 masters would be present. As I was preparing for the upcoming battle, he came to visit me in that room and... Oh, that explains how he got Lancer! He killed me. I've remembered. Those were my last moments. The fate of one miserable master that was called to the Holy Grail War. I'd never had the chance to participate in it.
この茶番はさ、聖杯戦争を続けたいあんたが引退した連中を引き戻して。
It's exactly as Avenger says. Kotomine attacked me from behind, and I was on the verge of death. My left arm holding the command spells had been torn off. I was left alone in that mansion. My wound would bring death, if I moved even slightly. It was also a fatal wound that would eventually kill me if I didn't. Barely alive, I made a wish from the bottom of my consciousness that was running out together with my blood. Not for revenge. With death overtaken me, I had no room for anger at being betrayed, nor was it despair. My dimming mind felt no sadness at the betrayal. At that moment, I had but one thought remaining in my heart. I don't want to die. I don't want to die in a place like this. I don't want to die in such a pitiful way. I can't bear dying alone like this. Time had stopped. More than halfway towards death, I kept on screaming until the remains of my life were all used up. And then... a mysterious and unfamiliar something happened to hear me. It was most likely what used to be the Holy Grail. The formless void inside the Holy Grail smashed by the winner of the 5th Holy Grail War. By all rights, once the Grail had been destroyed, it ought to have returned to the Throne of Heroes. But that thing lived inside the Holy Grail. Now inside the wish-granting Grail, it had taken the form of the hero everyone had wished it to be. It was a servant reborn inside the Holy Grail. The one called all the evil in the world, having become the demonic Grail that grants people's wishes, had answered my call. However, much the embodiment of the Holy Grail he may be, he was a servant. Without a master, he would disappear. Through an impossible miracle, an accident that would never happen again, he had finally become the hero that everyone wished him to be. And yet he would disappear, having lasted not even one night. Our mutual interests happened to coincide in the fact that neither one of us had a future. Well, of course, I was already about to meet my end. I was delirious. I had no time to contemplate that being's nature. I was just terrified that after my death, my body would rot, decay, and eventually become nothing. That's why only one thought remained, burning in my mind as I laid on the verge of death. I don't want to die. I want to extend the contract. Thus, the thing that had lost its old shell, known as the Holy Grail, found a new home in me by forming a contract. Oh, so it ventised itself. Okay. I lost consciousness the very next moment. That is, I died. So what's left here is my corpse. A pitiful misconception repeating the same 4 days indefinitely, frolicking forever inside a walled garden. Had my last wish been I want to be resurrected, I doubt he'd have been able to grant it even then. He said it himself. The dead cannot revive the dead. To give form to the dead is a privilege reserved only for the living. That's why the most he can do is deceive the soul. He preserves the soul separated from the body. For as long as the contract is in force, he will play this convenient dream with real life set as its stage. It's lavishly ornamented. A hollow, like a cradle, built in the depths of slumber. That's right. This never-ending Holy Grail war itself is what Bazet wished for. And that servant was my very own wish-granting Holy Grail. Oh, yeah, what's with this view again? This like, thing. I wonder. I finally get to the church several minutes behind Bazet. I knew this fleet-footed lady ought to seek refuge here. For Bazet Frega McRemits, this church is the last bit of support she can rely on. It's also the one place she should never step foot in. Even though, judging by her good mood earlier, I can expect to be met with instant death if I face her right now, I'm not the kind of servant who would abandon his master when she's at her most desperate. Preparing myself for the possibility that my head is about to part ways with my body, I fumble in the darkness till my hands find the door. Inside the abandoned building, there's a woman feebly hanging her head. And at the altar, there's a silver flower in bloom. I am noticing she is literally facing away here. The woman doesn't answer. Looks like she calmed down, but I guess she's still mad at me. Tell me.
必要ありません。
Oh?
あなたが答えるべきことは2つだけだ。
She cuts me short. There was no emotion in the words she shot at me. Woman has become a machine. In that case, there's no need for me to stay human either.
私が望む限り聖杯戦争は終わらない。
Yes.
聖杯戦争が続く限り私は死なない。
Yes. That's fine then. She passes me as she heads out of the church. I can't believe it. Right now I'm genuinely shocked.
待て。ならいいってなんだ。ここまで来て振り出しに戻るのか。
1日目に戻るのはいつものこと
No,
でしょ
her arms are there. Okay.
今さら何を言うのですあなたは。
Oh, wow. Tables have turned.
わからないな。からくりを知ったんだろ。ならもういいはずだ。この世界は死にかけだ。終わらないが続かない。そんなところにいたって何にもならないじゃないか。
それは外の世界も同じことです。私も私を取り巻く世界もそれを許す世界そのものもとっくに崩壊しだしている。再生はない。あとはただ滅びをどれだけ緩やかに引き伸ばすかだけの話だ。
She's terrified. Saying she's terrified at the inevitable death.
私たちは未来のない世界に生きている。そんな現実に戻るならここで永遠に繰り返していた方がいい。そうだ、もっと早く気がつけばよかった。裏切られたからって悲観することはない。元から私には何もなかった。あんな場所で生きるぐらいなら4日間しか続かなくてもここで生き続けた方がマシだ。
That's wrong. Being weak is fine. But stalling in here is a bit of a waste. What was it that he struggled to breathe up until now for?
こっちのがマシか。それこそ何を今さら口にする。現実が厳しいなんてそんなことあんたは生まれた時から分かっていたんじゃないのか。
She's pessimistic because she's weak. However, it's swallowing up that weakness and dying that's the number one sign of being human. That's what the priest was saying.
話はここまでです。戦いを続けます。あなたは私のサーバントだ。私の方針に従っていればいい。
As it is leaving the church, this is completely beyond my expectations. I thought that once she regained her memory, she would reject this silliness once and for all.
こりゃもう一押し必要かな。
Unfortunately, I can't really think of anything. Well, whatever. If the master intends to fight, the servant ought to just follow along. That one last push will be a job left for the hero of justice.
あなたはまだ続けるのですか？
There's a woman standing at the altar. She's so sensitive that she might just die if I get any closer. The distance between us now is the closest we can manage. It's not like we could ever talk or touch or anything to begin with.
仕方ないだろう。契約者が続けるって言うんだ。使い魔が自分から契約破棄したら魔術師のルールが壊れる。
わかりました。確かにあなたの立場ではそれが最善でしょう。
Her tone is cool and indifferent. If neither one of us cares much for the other's existence, our conversations are never longer than they need to be. Conversations? When have you talked before? Ever, for whatever reason.
あなたに会いました。とても楽しそうだった。
She brings up something unnecessary.
ま、楽しい分にはいいだろうさ。
I give a vague reply. Whether I should show joy or envy, react with surprise or with sorrow, honestly, I have no idea.
外でマスターが待ってる。そろそろ出るぜ。
The atmosphere is getting awkward, so let's get this over with.
忠告してあげるわ。契約を切るか、このまま続けて終わってしまうか。どちらにせよ、彼女は救われないでしょう。なら、いっそこのまま。
I don't want to hear it. Her statement isn't even correct in the first place.
まさか。助けを求めるのなら救われないものはない。どんなものであれ、最後には救われるんだ。
呆れた。それをあなたが言うの？アンリマユ。
もちろん。ま、俺の言う救いは人間の救いじゃないがね。
Ain't got no clue about bringing salvation while alive, unfortunately. Those that fell into despair can't be changed. So instead, you just need to switch that despair with something more meaningful. As one lies on their deathbed, being able to savor the illusion of a well-spent life in their final moments, how to bring happiness to any human.
ねえ、今でも本当にこの願いを終わらせたい。
当たり前だ。もう何億回繰り返したと思ってやがる。
Oh.
いい加減飽き飽きでお先真っ暗だよ。
He's on like his million-something-3 run.
嘘つき。
The woman goes up the stairs. In the end, I'm the only one left in the chapel.
何億回か。
Oof. String of ordinary days that I already know everything there could possibly be known to about. A world dimming ever so slightly with every new event. A world that I've never personally experienced, but where everything is known to me at the same time. There's still some gaps in it, but I'm sure those are just worthless bits of daily life. Well, anyway.
嘘つきって、俺を誰だと思ってやがる。アベンジャーが正直者のわけねえだろうが。
Being criticized for lying doesn't put me in a good mood, that's for sure. What does that woman think I am anyway? Oh. Cradle Hollow. Is there still more outside in the everyday world? Nope, we're back to this. Okay, good. We got new stuff at the church. Alright, well, before we go for the part, let's do a final check on the Emmas, see if there's anything new there. Nope, just the expensive one again. Alright, sounds good. Okay, guys, next time we're back for some more Fate Hollow Ataraxia. Let's go back to the church and continue on our little journey here. So we'll see you then for that, guys. Ciao.